We're still dealing with family, friends, fidelity. And we'll be sharing out of chapter 15. And, you know, my hope and my desire is, and of course because I'm in church, prayerfully, we will understand that we're doing more than just reading Proverbs, which is a book of wisdom. If you carefully and prayerfully and skillfully listen to what's read, not because it's coming out of my mouth, but if we would take this in, the very dilemmas that we're dealing with, a lot of the answers are here, because what this does, it teaches us daily how to carry ourselves, the best times to make a decision, the best times to refrain from making a decision. All of that is chalked in here, and it's prevalent to today. It's more to this thing than reading your Bible. I'm not knocking that. Even studying. This information is given to us by the one that made us, and it is for us to apply it as we live life here on this planet. Let us get out of the mindset that we're studying this as if it's some type of college course. Even the way that we're taught or preached to, the words that we share as we read in Proverbs, they're for you to use today when you go to your car. As you sit there, start using what you hear now. Allow the words to shape and mold your character. And as you do that, it'll begin to help you do better and different actions. Stop going through the motions and not growing. Ask the one that made you, well, Father, is there more to this than just what we read? And perhaps, he might say, yes, son, yes, daughter. I'm not speaking as his spokesman. I'm speaking as one that has had the privilege of being obedient to the instructions that he gave. That makes me no more special than anybody. But we're all in search of answers, and some of us think we have the answers. And you might, I don't know. I know I don't have them. And I'm well aware that brothers and sisters, more and more, we need wisdom. His wisdom. We need his wisdom, because his wisdom will temper everything in our lives, and that includes our emotions. That includes doctrine. That includes government. social media, technology. We need a heavy dose of wisdom. This situation that has come upon creation, it's going to take his wisdom to get us through this. And a lot of individuals are feverishly working, trying to figure a way out. And, I will say this, rather than be critical of things that people are doing that are honestly trying to help, because there are some people that are trying to help, not necessarily trying to profit off of the situation. And even in that, the way you acquire a thing is just as important as the acquisition itself. Now that sounds like a lot of business talk, but that's in life. Whatever you have and whatever you've gotten, go over in your heart and in your mind, how did I get it? The end does not justify the means. All is not fair in love and war. Let me get into this. Given here, we'll hear it out of King James, and then we'll hear it out of another translation. Given ear, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. A fool despises his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Hell and destruction are before the Lord. How much more then the hearts of the children of men? A scorner loveth not one that reproveth him. A scorner loveth not one that reproveth him. Neither will he go unto the wise. A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he that is of a merry heart hath a continual feast. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. The way of the slothful man is an hedge of thorns, but the way of the righteous is made plain. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish man despiseth his mother. Folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, but a man of understanding walketh uprightly. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed. But in the multitude of counselors, they are established. A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season, how good it is. The way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant words. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts, and here the word gifts means bribes, but he that hateth gifts shall live. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he heareth the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoiceth the heart, and a good report maketh the bones fat. The ear that heareth the reproof of life abideth among the wise. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom. Let me read that again. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Now, that was very good coming out of King James. The King James Version, I should say, or King James translation. Give an ear. A gentle response deflects fury, but a harsh word makes tempers rise. The tongue of the wise present knowledge well, but the mouth of a fool spews out folly. Y'all noticed that pause, didn't you? The eyes of Yah are everywhere, watching the evil and the good. I submit to you, saints, that there's grace in what I just read. But I'm going to stay on point. I'm going to read it one more time. It says, the eyes of Yah are everywhere, watching the evil and the good. A soothing tongue is a tree of life, but when it twists things, it breaks the spirit. A soothing tongue. A soothing tongue is a tree of life, but when it twists things, it breaks the spirit. A fool despises his father's discipline, but he who heeds warnings is prudent. The home of the righteous is a storehouse of treasure, but the earnings of the wicked bring trouble. The lips of the wise spread knowledge, not so the hearts of fools. Yah detests the sacrifices of the wicked, but delights in the prayers of the upright. Yah detests the way of the wicked, but loves anyone who pursues righteousness. More grace. Discipline is severe for one who leaves the way, and whoever can't stand correction will die. Sheol and Abaddon lie open to Yah. So how much more people's hearts? A scorner does not like being corrected. A scorner does not like being corrected. A scorner does not like being corrected. He and she won't go to the wise, and in parentheses they have, for advice. A glad heart makes a face happy, but heartache breaks the spirit. The mind of a person with discernment seeks knowledge, but the mouth of a fool feeds on folly. For the poor, every day is hard, but the good-hearted have a perpetual feast. Better little with the fear of Yah than great wealth coupled with worry. Better little with the fear of Yah than great wealth coupled with worry. Now, what I don't want you to read into that, it's not saying being wealthy is bad. It says having great wealth with worry. That person is a lot worse off than someone that has less with no worry. All of us that are still working and employed, your employer, even in times like this, they always want more production, higher goals. We need a 5% increase. You know, can you get that report ready? When are you going to be through with the project? And as soon as you're through with the project, they got another one. Doing your evaluations. There's always something else they want you to work on. We're glad to have you here, and you're doing a great job. However, and that's by design. You see, and I'm a capitalist. I'm for capitalism, so. But they always want more. People that have obtained a certain level of wealth, not all of them, but a large percentage of them, worry. You watch a lot of channels dealing with success in business and in life and everything, and they'll say something like, well, the hardest thing to do is obtain your first million. But right behind it, after you obtain that goal, and it doesn't have to be $1 million, whatever your amount is that you think, if I just had this much, life would be good. What happens is, once you get to that, now you're concerning yourself with, now that I got it, how do I keep it? And I just want to throw this out, and I'm going to get back to this, because, but I listen. And it's none of my business, so I'm only throwing this out as a suggestion. Please, saints, if you're getting a stimulus, please pay down as much of your debt that you can, because, and this is not a political statement. This is just the way government works, okay? So we all know what makes up the government, okay? There is no free lunch, okay? And again, like I said earlier, people are doing all of what they can to try to allow the everyday man, which is my main concern, because the ultra wealthy, they're going to be fine regardless whether there's a financial reset or not. Pay down your debt saints. That's my advice to you. And, again, I'm not trying to, I have enough of a challenge running my own household. But, some of us are not being wise with the assistance that we're getting. And once the entire process plays itself out, what you're going to find is if you got assistance, when you're ready to try to, quote unquote, get back on your feet, there are going to be some barriers to you being able to do that if you're not wise with the assistance that you're getting. I'll move on because, I'm not trying to make this a... But again, saints, I just want you to be informed. That's all. I just want you to be informed. Government can be good, and government can be government. So, whatever happens, whatever comes to your mailbox, and if you have to spend, try to get value for your money while it still has value. All right, let me get back to this. And I'm not spreading fear. I just want the everyday guy to be informed, because I'm in that group. Listen to this. Better a vegetable dinner with love than a stall-fatted ox with hate. I mean, really, well, it's been a while since we've been to anybody's house for dinner. But, you can think back when you went to some people's houses for dinner, and maybe they didn't have a whole lot, but they were willing to share what they had, and man, it was real nice. And, there was love in the atmosphere, and not only was it good food, but it was real, pure love. And that made it that much more wonderful. And then you've been to some places where, been to homes, everything's successful, nice neighborhood, everybody appears to be doing well. Did I say, you heard the word appears? Everybody appears to be doing well. And I mean, and it's not a knock on the people, but you were invited and you wondering why you got invited. And sometimes folks invite you to their house because they want to show off a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that that's the case all the time, but you'd be surprised why people do stuff sometimes. And then you go there, and I mean, man, they got a spread to beat the band. They may have even had it catered, because after all, we can have it catered. And that's all right, too. And I'm sure the food was good. But something's in the air. There's a little light tension among all the finery. You didn't get that same vibe that you got when you went and you had, just spaghetti. Spaghetti's not real expensive, But here, you're in this place, and you're in this palatial estate, and, all the neighbors, man, my goodness, they invited me. But there's tension in the home. And everybody's being proper, they're sitting there and they, got the thing laid out all nice, and folks always start from the outside and work your way in, if, the place setting, in case you don't know, because some people will do that, and that's where I'm going. I was talking with a young man that got invited to one of his buddies' home, and they put on the dog for him. I mean, that's probably the way they eat all the time, but they invited him, and he brought a friend, and the friend picked up the wrong, thing, and some of the other people that were there at the dinner, they laughed. Now, again, I'm not sharing this to say if somebody invites you to dinner, don't go. No, because not everybody's mean like that. But I am saying some people will do that because they either want to, for some reason, some people get a kick out of belittling people. And we shouldn't be like that. But long story short, they got through the dinner and everything, and of course, they wanted to have him back. And so the guy's friend invited him back, and he told me, he said, look, I appreciate you all inviting us. He says, but I won't be coming back, And I don't know whether his friend realized or not why. But that hurt the young man's friend, that the people would, make light of. I mean, and he, it was clear he wasn't necessarily used to that type of setting. But they began to share some things, and later on found out, hey, yeah, nice house, very successful by all appearances. But the young man began to explain, man, my family is jacked up. I mean, tension everywhere. Now, I'm not saying, listen, there are some people that are wealthy and things are good. They got, it's real love, ain't no fake stuff, ain't no trickery going on. But a lot of times we go by appearances, and in fact, really, we going by appearances right here and now. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. But I'm just saying, learn to look beyond just what you see. And don't always be fooled by how things appear. Please, look a little deeper. Look a little deeper. Look a little longer. Here we go. Hot-tempered people stir up strife, but patient people quiet quarrels. The lazy person's way seems overgrown by thorns, but the path of the upright is a level highway. A wise son is a joy to his father, and only a fool despises his mother. Folly appeals to one who lacks sense, but a person of discernment goes straight ahead. Listen at this one. Without deliberation, plans go wrong. But with many advisors, they succeed. I'm going to read that again. Without deliberation, which is just a fancy word of saying, without planning. If you always flying by the seat of your pants, oh, hey, well, we'll make it up as we go along. Yes, no, that's not the best way to do it. You need to plan things. And it's good if you have other people with wisdom helping you in the planning. Just make it up as we go. Fake it till you make it. Just wing it. It's not gonna succeed. Without deliberation, plans go wrong, but with many advisors, they succeed. People take pleasure in anything they say, but a word at the right time, how good it is. For the prudent, the path of life goes upward. Thus, he avoids Sheol below. I don't know if many of you know there's a park in Israel. I don't think it's called Sheol. It's another word. Gehenna. That's it. There's a park in Israel called Gehenna. Did you hear what I said? All right. Oh boy. For the prudent, the path of life goes upward. Thus he avoids Sheol below. Yah will pull down the houses of the proud, but preserves intact the widow's boundaries. He got you. Yah detests plans to do evil. Now, just earlier I was talking about without deliberation, without planning, it's going to fail. But it's interesting, sometimes we don't plan and we don't deliberate when we're going to do good. But man, when we're getting ready to do something rotten, look at us. Look at us. Notice I didn't say, y'all look at you, because I'm part of the us too. All creation is part of us, regardless of what your title is. Yah detests plans to do evil, but kind words are pure. The greedy for gain brings trouble to his home, but he who hates bribes will live. He who hates bribes will live. Why is it sometimes, why people want to do nice things for you? Somebody getting ready to go to court about a situation or something? Or just, let's just pick something that happens in church. There's a disagreement. Not in church, yeah, especially in church. There's a disagreement. And finally, most of them say, well, we're going to take this to the pastor. And usually, most people really don't want it to get there. And I've already shared it with him a lot of times. I said, Pop, tell you something. Most of the time, buddy, you don't get the whole story. People only give the part the way they want you to see them. I've said that to him. Now, you know, this guy, he just loves everybody. And he's going to give you all the benefit of the doubt. So that's a good thing, in a way. But I'll tell you, as part of his bloodline, it's tough to watch. It's tough to watch and keep quiet. You all have a good pastor. You really do. And I have a good father. But people want to, well, now, if he called you into the office, hey, can I take you to lunch? I've been going to this church for 15 years. Why you won't take me to lunch today? Folks, smell setup. Smell setup. Something's about to come down the pipe. Wait a minute, hold up. Wait. I mean, you know, you normally don't include me in your group. Oh, when the Lord finally touched their heart. See, that's the way we think. Oh, yeah, yes, I'll go. You know. But people are trying to, I guess, get their character witnesses, I guess, you know. And, you know, just be careful with that kind of stuff. And now, again, I'm not saying don't accept gifts. But again, like I said earlier, look at things a little longer. Look at them a little harder so that you don't miss it. Because sometimes when you act and you still got an issue, you'll either don't accept something that was given with a pure heart, and you'll fall right locked in step. Well, now I can't say this about them because they took me to dinner. Well, the pastor want to know what really happened. Then our memory gets fuzzy. Well, I thought. And you went all around the church giving your version of truth. Some of us can be bribed just with recognition. Oh, man, at least get something. Recognition? What is that? Let me ask you. Okay, so you got recognized, and you got $20 in your pocket. How many more dollars you got now that you've been recognized? I mean, we are bribed so easily. Maybe you'll get to sing. Maybe you'll get to teach. Don't fall for that bribe, because I'm going to tell you something. You'll be given the benefit of the doubt. But I'll tell you, your stuff better be on point. Oh, gee. I'm having fun. I don't know about anybody else. The greedy for gain brings trouble to his home, but he who hates bribes will live. And sometimes, when you don't do that, people will say, oh, he's so standoffish. It's like, no, you kind of messy, and I'm trying to stay out of mess. You don't say that to the people. You just say to them, oh, well, when you said Thursday, and for me, I got to work Thursday. See? And I'll tell you something. When a person is trying to bribe you, when you refuse the bribe, they get angry with you. Now they're just as angry with you as they in the one that they're in conflict with. And my best statement is, yes, I'll talk to this person, but I just want you to know I ain't on nobody's side. Because of what I just said to you all earlier. A lot of times it's tough to watch the way people do your bloodline. It's tough. I like this one. The mind of the righteous thinks before speaking. Now, I didn't put that in there. If any of you got this translation, I ain't even going to call it on social media. If y'all got this translation, I read that, and if you can read English, I didn't make that up. The mind of the righteous thinks before speaking. But then listen to this. But the mouth of the wicked spews out evil stuff. Lot of information. But a lot of times that information really isn't that pertinent. You can't really use it. Oh, it'll tickle your ears. And it might even, make you shake a little bit. But after that, what? You're still in the same dilemma and you don't have a solution to your situation. The mind of the righteous thinks before speaking, but the mouth of the wicked spews out evil stuff. Yah is far from the wicked, but he listens to the prayer of the righteous. And I will say this now. There are also times in Scripture where, again, we think it's the adversary and it's our maker turning up the heat. He's turning up the heat because he want to hear us. It's like, boy, you've been going a month and I ain't heard a whole lot from you. Let me see what happens if I knock off one of these accounts. Oh, Lord. So I take it with me and see, now, they're going to, well, I've told y'all I ain't a preacher anyway. They're going to kick me out the club anyhow. Well, I don't want to be in that club, no way, but they'll kick me out because I go to the movies 6 days a week and I go to the restaurant. I just like saying, I go to the bar every day. I go to the bar every day to clean it, folks. I clean. I got a cleaning business. I can imagine. But now, if it'll get us more views, hey. Because, see, a lot of people think church people don't know how to live. And kind of, y'all, tell you the truth, a lot of stuff we're allowed to do, we don't do. Because somebody, somewhere told us that's sinful. Technology come on board. We let other people that don't care much about the Most High, let them take it, dominate. We just kind of sit back, well, oh, they just bad people. Bad, bad, bad. A cheerful glance brings joy to the heart, and good news invigorates the bones. Now, I know some preachers now, when they get to something like that, they'll say, the good news, the gospel. Well, they're talking about just good news in life. What? Yeah. Now, it preaches well to say it the other way, especially if you're in church. Listen to this. He who heeds life-giving correction will be at home in the company of the wise. See, sometimes if you find yourself uncomfortable in the company of certain people or certain type of people, you need to ask yourself why. Why are you shying away from people that are prudent? I mean, do you always want to hang out with the people? Hey, man, Greg's always he seemed pretty serious to me. But every now and then I like to cut the fool, and he knows that. But he'll still make time for me anyway. But what if we having a conversation and I'm acting silly, and he just cuts to the chase and says, hey, man, listen, enough of that. Now, if I'm immature, now this brother, he's getting ready to lay something on me about life, something that will help me so that I can help somebody else, and I get mad because he won't let me keep acting silly. And then I'll say, well, I ain't hanging out with Greg no more. Brother, he think he's so hard, him and Vern both. Although, no, I can't say nothing about Vern. I like Vern. I like Greg. But saints, what I'm saying to you is, see, there are certain people that some of us, we barely speak to one another. That come to church, that say we family, that we think we know each other just because we come to church. You don't know the person. I'm telling you. Are you up here trying to preach anarchy? No. I'm saying, take a longer look. Check your level of discernment. Check your level of understanding. Am I seeing this thing clearly? Father, help me. I'm picking up the wrong kind of vibe. Or am I picking up the right kind of vibe and I need to do something about it? Well, if I say this, people are going to get mad. Son, it depends on how you say it. And what, you going to say it in front of the whole church, or are you going to pull that person to the side? Same thing. Not only if you're going to pull them to the side, if somebody, can you be approached? See, some of us, we carry ourselves in such a way, people don't even want to approach you. And I've said in times past, because I've had a couple of people say, well, I've got they had something that they had to give to me. And I said, listen, hey, You better off being obedient. Get it, girl. You better off being obedient and just giving what he placed on your heart to tell me. Don't look at my face. My face, my face is what it is. I can't change it. I think it looks good, but I can't change it. And if it's from him, you gotta give it to me. Now, what I do with it, that's between me and him. You're out of the picture. But again, in checking the intent of why I was approached with that, now you gotta, hey, was this really from the Lord, or is this just something I've been wanting to tell him anyway? And you know what? With me, that's okay too. I can handle that. But I will ask you a question. If I were to respond to you equally honestly, are we still going to be friends? Or really, well, let me stop. We can still be acquaintances. We can still be in the family of the Most High and still have differences. I know that's not taught. That's not taught in churches. Listen, we have things that we have to achieve as a congregation. Even in the 12 that he had, there were skirmishes that would break out from time to time. So if y'all waiting on everything to be kumbaya, we're never going to get anything done. Now, in time, as we both mature and as we both grow in discernment and as we both get confirmation by the Spirit that they're genuine and they find out you're genuine, we might be able to reconcile. But in the meantime, stay busy. Keep your shoulder to the wheel so that somebody else that's on the outside of the ark of safety can get in. We spend too much time being fake. And there's work to be done. I know, and we don't like that word work. Some of us retired. Well, you still got work to do too. And part of it is lead the folks that still got to work. Cut us some slack. Pop? I know, I see, Reg. He who spurns discipline detests himself. Hey, you know, we do, and particularly men, we don't like to be told what to do. Of course, I'm going to tell you, ladies, y'all done kind of caught us and passed us. Oh, man. I mean, and you know, I think it's great that the ladies are making such strides and everything. But I noticed when they start giving all these reports about unemployment and promotions and heads of, and they always talk about the ladies. I don't never hear them talk about the guys. And I'm like, well, hey, we still here too. Well, you know, I guess the ladies would say, well, it's our time now. Okay. But throw a brother a bone every now and then. Let us get in on the action. The good action. He who spurns discipline detests himself, but he who listens to correction grows in understanding. The discipline of wisdom is fear of Yah. So before being honored. Oh boy, I messed that up. Listen, I'm going to close with this. I see, Red, you done turned it off. I know, I'm going to shut up. The discipline of wisdom is fear of Yah. So, which is another way of saying therefore, before being honored, a person must be humble. But remember now, it's not what we've heard having humility is. Humility is the person that will do what must be done regardless of how they feel. See, if you allow how you feel about a thing or a person to influence you, you need more understanding about what really humility is. Again, a hero doesn't lack fear. They interview a lot of people that have done some very brave things, and they admit, yes, I was afraid, but they did what had to be done. God bless you. Thank you for coming. And I'll see you next time I have the privilege to come before you. Pastor, will you come?